Right, my clip for this round. I changed this one last minute because we're going to wind up talking about it anyway. So this is an interview that Lewis Rees-Zammit has given to Gloucester Rugby Club about his decision to go and try out for the NFL. So I figured we'd wind up talking about it anyway, and there's a lot that I quite like in this interview. I mean, I like Lewis anyway. I think that, whether it's as a player or just his general demeanour, I quite like. I think he's confident, and I need that in my sports people.
Yeah.
I need a level that we were talking about last week when we were kind of borders between self-confidence and what other people might perceive as arrogance.
Yeah,
and I think that's necessary.
But if you don't back yourself, you've got no chance, have you?
No, but absolutely.
Yeah.
His entire career seems to be based on backing himself from the moment he gets the ball.
Yeah,
and he can do that. But I love the bits where he's talking about how going to Hartpury really helped him out. I think that's really interesting, sort of doing sixth form there rather than in South Wales, because I think he was in Cardiff Schools 15s, so the Jewish Shield stuff, but he was never within the setup then within Cardiff Blues. And he was like, I wasn't in the academy back home, so this really helped me out coming over here.
Yeah.
And you think,
100.
bloody hell, if someone that talented at the age of 16, they might not have been that talented at the age of 16 is the proviso.
Yes, of course.
If someone that talented then in later life isn't part of any kind of setup, I think that's great. That he's then gone on to do it.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
100%. Well, my I was going to say my nephew. He's not my nephew. He's my cousin, but he's a lot younger than me, Zach. He's there now. He's at Gloucester. He's gone. He's gone there as a scrum half. But
Okay.
this thing when I saw this news the other day on Twitter.
Yeah.
It knocked me backwards a little. Christ, that's. I tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this is going to kick off now. You have a lot of dickheads saying, "Where's your loyalty?"
Yeah,
A lot of dickheads saying it's a pansy sport. They wear helmets, right?
Yeah.
And there's been such a sea change in the last sort of 5 or 10 years with that stuff. As people get more aware of the game, I would say. I know we had a pop at some people having a go at him.
Yeah.
But I read a lot of stuff about this. I would say 90% of it is positive.
Yes.
And 90% of it appreciates how tough the NFL is, which wouldn't have happened in the past at all, right? I mean, people saying to me, I get a lot of people get in touch because obviously I like rugby and I like American football. What are his chances? I said, well, they're very slim.
Yeah.
But his chance if he doesn't do it is zero, right? So you can't fault the bloke. He's a talent. He's fast. He's well built. He's got. I tell you what he is as well, and they're not stupid in the NFL. He's marketable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really marketable, and it's about bums on seats. It's show business over there, right? So
He's also
that story's a great story.
if he succeeds, can you think of anything that's going to put Wales on the map more than this?
Exactly this. I say this to people all the time. I say, what do you think's happened for and rugby?
Yeah.
Rugby's in the fucking doldrums. If at the moment, if he succeeds in the NFL, they'll go, what's his story again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he play? Where's he from?
Do they know what position they might put him in?
They'll have had conversations already, but
Well, he's been training there for a while.
yeah.
He's doing this 10-week intensive sort of boot camp, isn't he?
He's been doing NFL. He's been working with like an NFL conditioning coach,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
in the off season for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And his old man played it. So when I was my little link to it was when I've got the programs here somewhere. When I used to go down as a ball boy for the Cardiff Tigers back in the 80s, when I was playing American football as a kid,
Yeah.
the Cardiff Mariners like junior team would go down and ball boy for the Cardiff Tigers. His old man was playing for the
That's
Tigers.
a young
then.
tiger. He's a
Oh,
mariner.
wow.
Great thought process.
So
Should we call them the Cubs?
We were
No,
no,
we're called the Mariners. What?
Are you mad?
Why? That makes no sense.
But when he said, my dad...
Oh, Seaman then.
The Cardiff Seamen.
But when he said, my dad loves the game and always wanted me to play, that's a genuine link.
Yeah.
Yeah, his old man loved it and played it. And,
So physically he's got the attributes, you would think.
he'll probably end up as a returner. They'll
I
try him
hope so.
because that was most like a counter-attacking fullback. You know what I mean? So it'll be catching kickoffs and punts, and you've got a little bit more carte blanche to go for it, basically.
You'd hope so, because that's looking at all the players who've tried to make a similar transition. Christian Wade did running back and a little bit of special teams. Jared Hayne, awful human being, but kind of did all right when he was at the 49ers, coming from
Isn't
rugby.
it that guy at the Philadelphia Eagles, Jordan something? He was
Jordan
an Australian.
Mailata.
Yeah, he's a tackle though, isn't he?
Exactly.
He's a
So
lineman.
he's gone for
And a very good one.
and a massive person. So he's gone. For, that's a decent specialist. The only one who sort of, because I heard a lot of talk because of his height and speed about wide receiver, and you think, well, it's too specialist. And Valentine Holmes didn't quite do it when he was at the Jets, did he? And
If
he
you're
did
playing
the same pathway.
if you're playing skill positions, I'd love him to prove me wrong, right?
It'd be great if he did,
It'd be
but-
amazing, but it's not just learning a playbook, which I'm sure he's quite capable of doing.
Yeah.
But those lads playing will have, and it's such a ruthless system at every level. So they even start playing at 4 or 5 years of age, and and at every level, you go into junior high, there's a chop. You go to senior high, there's a chop. You go to college, there's a massive chop. You go into the NFL, it's massive again, right? So they're players who have played that position for years and can read blocks and know where things are. That sort of sixth sense that good footballers, good rugby players get, where you sort of anticipate things before they happen because you've played it for so long. He hasn't got that. So I think a receiver's a big ask. I think running back, I'd love to see him. Someone said, where would you like him to play? I said, if it was up to me, I'd love the old. I'm a Packers fan, but in the 49ers in the day when Roger Craig played, was that sort of build, that tall, great runner. And he had a fellow called Tom Rathman. But the game's changed. There used to have like a blocking running back and a running back, like a full back and I mean, him behind a blocking full back, taking off would be fantastic. But the offenses don't play like that anymore.
No.
And it'd be so much to learn.
But kick return,
Oh, wonderful.
you watch all of his best tries, and the majority of them come from broken play where he's received it.
Got great hands.
Maybe in his 22.
Where's that one for Gloucester where he basically goes diagonally from corner post
Yeah.
to corner post? It's like a 120-metre try, and
Yeah.
he is rapid. That's the other thing, he's quick. Like, they talk about Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins, he's a very quick player. And I know it's explosive, and they don't care about top-end 100-metre speed, it's all about 40-yard dash times. But he's as quick, if not quicker, than Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So they talk about and they talk about Christian Wade, but Christian Wade was like late 20s, nearly 30.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I had a lot of
he wasn't a
conversations.
British Lion. He wasn't like the best. At rugby.
He was just. Yeah,
he was very
did go,
good.
He did
he
go
was
on the
very
line,
very
so-
good.
Yeah, he got called up.
Didn't get capped, did he?
No.
He was a fantastic. I'm not saying he's not a fantastic player, but I think Louis is a better rugby player.
Yes.
But Louis is also 16 stone and 6'3". Like he's.
Christian
I had a
Wade's
lot-
quite small, actually, for a rugby player.
The guys who run the international player pathway had a little bit to do with them, sort of before Christian Wade kind of signed, and they were saying that players they were looking at were more, if you have any, Welsh rugby players to look at, more sort of the below 23 in terms of their age is much more likely to have a success rate for them, and worth the investment then of taking them to camp.
And that's not taking anything away from Wade at all. He's a fantastic athlete, right?
Look, to get in, and I think,
and he nearly got there. He got really close.
well, even to get in the practice squads, though, if you're looking at it as, what is an achievement, to play in an NFL preseason game rather than a regular season game
Fucking hell, yeah.
is a
Jesus
fantastic
Christ.
Yeah,
achievement.
absolutely.
But I don't get the small minority who sort of say, well, what chance has he got? He's pissing in the wind. Well, fucking hell, mate. What's your life like?
But that's
Yeah,
everything.
he's also 22. So
Yeah.
I saw one tweet that said what'll happen is he'll go there, he'll do his boot camp, he won't get in, and he'll come back with his tail between his legs.
tail
Really
between
fucking
his
And
legs.
what's he
bollocks.
lost?
He'll come
What's
back
he
as a
lost?
British lion who's been to the fucking.
What's he
Become
lost?
mad.
He's okay. So he's taken a chance, and he's lost 10 weeks of his life.
Yes.
The other thing,
He
in
hasn't,
terms
though.
of
He's enjoyed
yeah,
it.
but you know what I mean.
He's
10
like-
weeks of
yeah,
his
yeah.
rugby career, and he will have
Yeah.
missed the Six Nations.
Yeah.
But he'll come back probably faster, sharper,
Yeah. And different.
different skill set.
Yeah.
If he has a career, if he does make it, and he
I'm so
decides
jealous.
and he
It's
decides to
bloody
come
brilliant.
back, he'd also be an amazing positive boost to Welsh rugby because the standards at NFL are so high. It's like when international footballers drop down the divisions and they raise the standards of everyone around them. Like I've interviewed a few Cymru Prem players who played alongside Dave Edwards, who obviously played at Euro 2016. They're like, we all raised our game when we were
Well, a
with
trainer,
Dave.
you see someone's played like Premier League or Champions League football, can play for your club. You're like, fucking hell, that's all I got to do. Yeah, you got to train like this.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely, exactly.
And that'll be the same when Luke, if he does come back. He could have a 3 or 4 year NFL career and come back at 26.
He could have an 8-year Premier League career.
Do you know what I mean?
And come
22
back.
is so young.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, Gloucester have been brilliant with this. They've been really good. And you could, and I was really enthused about how overwhelmingly positive the stuff was. People saying, go for it, mate, Rugby players who get it, People, rugby players I don't necessarily always agree with, people like Andy Good getting involved and saying, go for it, pal. And
Well, I loved Gatland's quotes. You never seen a man look more shell-shocked in your life. Just going, I don't know what's happened.
Man.
Well, I
know people who
don't
knew about
believe-
that for a couple of months.
I was going to say, I don't
And they're not
believe that
Gatland.
he didn't know because I'd heard about it in the middle of last week. So, yeah, I don't believe, that's... And also the stuff that you said before about, I know that he's trained a lot in the off-season in this
And
way.
it's not just about the money either, but people always obsess about the money. Well, he's only going to make this much on that camp. He's not doing it for the fucking money, is he? He's a 22-year-old lad. He's got enough money anyway.
Yeah.
It's a huge challenge. He loves football. He wants to have a go at it.
But
And that
even if
doesn't
he
make him
gets-
anti-Welsh or anti-rugby, you cock.
No.
But even if he gets practice squad, it's, 170 grand.
And what an experience.
Yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah. And I
Good laugh.
reckon being offered the opportunity and not taking it, especially after he retired, will eat away at him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
You
it
know, the
would.
and he's-
idea
and
of
he's
being a
switched on,
40-year-old
right?
bloke in a pub thinking, I could have given that a go, actually.
What pisses a lot of the old school rugby types off is that he's very much a modern player. He believes in the brand and he wants to,
Yeah.
Great, you've got to sell yourself these days.
That's
And what a
his
story. I mean, don't tell me Netflix wouldn't get involved if that
Well,
happened.
don't tell me Netflix aren't involved already.
Well, of course they are.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Because I think there's,
Someone said, so Tom Parry's a mate of ours, and I did
Yeah.
an American football podcast with Tom a couple of years ago, which I really enjoyed doing, right?
Yeah.
He's a lovely boy, Tom. And he said, you got to get onto BBC Wales, mate, and do a documentary about this. I was like, I'm pretty sure that Netflix is probably...
I'm pretty sure it's, from what I'm pretty sure it's part of the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it's all tied. But, so there's, there's...
What are you winking for?
next week's doc, I've picked out... So the international
What,
player...
they've already
pathway-
made it?
Yeah, yeah.
You picked the Netflix
I've made this.
Louis Summit one, made by
Yeah.
Steph Guerrero.
Produced by Steph Guerrero, come on.
Yeah, so long, suckers.
No, there's international player pathway, the NFL. So the scheme that he's going into, there's a bunch of sort of 10-minute docs. There's about 5 of them that I've picked for next week as the doc. So we're
Nice.
going to have a look at it in a bit more depth on next week. Boom.